Are you just getting started with your Equiband and unsure of how to fit it to your horse? Well, stick around. I'm going to show you how.
Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel, Team Fuego. I am here with Fuego and today we're going to be, on this channel we always talk about eventing, whether it be training tips, tricks, tools, etc. And so today and within this series is about the Equiband. So an Equiband is both an abdominal training tool and a butt training tool. It is specifically meant for building muscle, and the reason that I was introduced to it is because this guy is rehabbing a tendon injury right now, and one of the things that they recommend while you're rehabbing is rebuilding those muscles, because while they sit around and do nothing, it's not, by building their ab muscle, I'm not directly impacting his leg, right? Like these pieces, there's so many pieces to the puzzle of a horse that they all intermingle with what you really need to build to have your horse be strong enough or agile enough to do whatever it is you want to do, because eventing has dressage and jumping in it. So at the end of the day, these two tools this tool with these two muscle groups that you focus on are going to help you in no matter what area, whether it be English, Western, regardless. Those muscle groups are imperative for not only your horse being as strong as it needs to be for what it needs to do, but also it helps improve with agility, mobility, and in my particular case, since I'm rehabbing an injury, it's phenomenal for helping me build muscle when all I'm stuck doing all day is walking. At this point, though, in our rehab, we are finally up to, like 8 minutes of trot, 1 minute at a time we've been adding every week. So it's been like slowly but steady wins the race, right? And so for me, when I started with this tool, I started with hand walking him, because literally all he was allowed to do at that point in time was, I wasn't allowed to be on his back. So I will say though that this tool has made all the difference, not only in being able to build muscle that, for one, I'm pretty sure he didn't have very much of before, and the other piece is that it's a low impact type workout, and so it's easy to add into, say, for my rehabbing horse, it's easy to add into his system. Or for my young horse who is just getting started under saddle, it's a great tool for her to build some muscle before my big butt sits on her back. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just love nachos. So anyway, a couple of things before we get into how to measure your Equiband, or how to measure your horse so that you fit it to what your Equiband, the size your Equiband needs to be. But while we're here, I'm going to just point out a couple things. So first thing, hi Deli. The first thing is this. So this particular saddle pad that the Equiband comes with has a breastplate attachment there, and what I highly recommend, highly, is that as soon as you get your system and you start using it, that you use the breastplate so that the saddle pad, while it's being pulled by the rubber bands in the back, it's also being held in place by your breastplate in the front. Now, as you can see, I'm using my saddle today, but you can also use a surcingle if you because when you first, there's also a video in this series about introducing horses to the Equiband, which I recommend you do first hand walking and then on the lunge line. So you can do that with a surcingle. You don't have to put your saddle on. But if you don't have a surcingle, saddles work. So let's get into how to measure your Equiband. So the first thing that they say is they recommend that your rubber band be 50% of the measurement. So the measurement is from either of these buckles. Your ab rubber band's going to go under this way. Your butt rubber band's going to go back this way. Now what you do is you're going to measure all the way around until you get to the counterpart on the other side. Now, I will show you a really easy trick because there is one way to do this, the hard way, which is that you measure all the way around and then divide that in half. But the easy way to do this is to take the measuring tape you were given, and instead of going all the way around, all you do is go from one buckle straight to the middle of the butt in the back, and that will give you 50% of the full distance. I know. So smart. So another piece of this puzzle is that they do say they recommend to put it at 50%. Now, since my horse was rehabbing, I did not start with my Equiband that tight, but I also recommend that you don't start with your Equiband that tight. Okay, so as they say, I went and got my Equibands and I put them on. So as they say, they recommend 50% of, so when you measure from here to the middle of their belly, and when you measure from here to the middle of their butt, that's going to be 50% of what they suggest the Equiband be measured to. Now, I will say, I'm going to put a couple caveats in here. One, if you're working with a young horse or a horse that has not been introduced to this system, don't start with 50%. I think that that's much and a bit much, and to be honest with you, I'll tell you the numbers that I'm using with this horse, and the horse has been using it for about a month and a half, because muscle building is a progressive task. It is not something that you just wake up and do. So with that being said, we'll talk about the ab band first. So the ab band was measured to be about 36 inches that should be for him, and right now I have it at 40. And then the butt band, this butt band, now this is like 50% of this would be really tight. So just so you guys are aware, like this tension right here is taut, but not too taut. And at the end of the day, like 50% of so it should be measured at 36 inches, but right now I have it at 50. So the butt band is a little bit looser than the ab band, but at the end of the day, it's all about progression, and you can always make it tighter as you work with your horse and as they get stronger. Because at first I only used this for 10 minutes of my ride. The first 10 minutes of my ride, then slowly increased to 20, and now I use it the entire time that we work. So this is all about progression, and if you follow some of the links below, there's an entire training on how to use the Equiband, in addition to quizzes that you can take to see like where you should start. Because as I say, it really depends. If you like, this tool is great for not only like horses that are working and competing that need to build strength, horses like my horse that are rehabbing that need to build strength, horses like my other horses that are babies and need to build muscle before my my cheeseburger filled butt sits on them. And as I've said, it's a progression. So the schedule and the plan you make should have development and growth in it, because you should expect to feel like, when I touch down here, I don't know if you can see that. You can't, because it's saddle. But when you touch down on the bottom, I can actually see my horse's abs react now. When people flex their like six packs, or those guys that the underwear models that have those like V things on the, what I'm talking about. When after you use this, you can actually see like them contract their muscles, the muscles that they're actually building. So with that being said, we've gone over everything that you need to know. We've gone over, how to attach the Equiband the best to this saddle pad so that it doesn't move, because believe me, even us just talking here. So do you see how far back so this was originally here? This tension here is really is taut, and so it does pull on your tack. So having this breastplate here really does save your saddle from sliding back, and and any horse is going to piss off any horse. So it's definitely a solid strategy to make sure that you have, not only that you have the Equiband fitting correctly, but also that that everything is in place, so it holds everything in place, because otherwise it's not going to do what you want it to do anyway. So the last little bit we also talked about using 50% stretch. However, that is a progressive type goal to achieve. And so I told you what mine were at. They're almost there. I'm almost there on the ab one. I'm not quite there yet on the butt one, but I will keep making it tighter until he gets to, what is recommended. And when he has the muscle to do so. And the last little thing I want to mention is that when you read on the Equiband website, like what they recommend that you cut the extra rubber band off. Now I'm going to show you this side because as you can see, there's an extra, an extra bit hanging here and an extra bit hanging here. Now, one of the things you can do is you can literally tuck it into the rubber band and not even make a difference. Now, for me, I just leave it as it is. And one of the reasons that I do that is because I use this Equiband on more than one horse. Now, if you cut those rubber bands, you can't get that back. So, if you're only using it on one horse, then cool. Measure it to your horse, call it a day. But for me, they give you 2 sets of rubber bands, and I have, I have more than 2 horses. And so at the end of the day, I would rather be able to adjust my Equiband to whatever horse I'm using or riding instead of having to worry about buying new rubber bands for each horse. So that's also, a totally situational type thing. You, me, anybody. If you buy one for the barn, then you can't start cutting rubber bands because otherwise it won't fit half the horses. So with that being said, I hope that you've enjoyed this video on how to correctly measure your Equiband. And within this series, I'm also going to show you how I use it under saddle, and then also we're going to talk about how to build the correct schedule for with the horse that you have and the goals that you want to achieve. All right, so welcome. As I said, thanks for being on my channel, #Team Fuego. Really looking forward to working with you guys in the future and getting your horse those muscles, because honestly, being able to build muscle, this has been a game changer for me on this rehab, because being able to build muscle with 0 impact is incredible. And the reason I'm sharing this with everybody is because I wish somebody had told me about this the last time I rehabbed this horse, or, years ago. This thing has been around for so long, and I can't even believe that it's not as well known as it should be. So anyway, it has been a pleasure. And if you liked this video, you like this channel, smash that subscribe button. Because we post videos all the time about training, tips, tools. I'm personally a 3-day eventer, but, in 3-day eventing, we do a whole lot of stuff. So, if you're ever looking for a cross-training type experience, or if you're ever looking for just something new, not to mention all my silly jokes, I'll see you there.